Welcome to the European mini tournament. We have Royal International Pound. Wow. Royal International Pound versus Weitei. Man, I haven't seen Wei play in quite a while. He's a great player, coming in with a supply specialist. We have Fang and tanks. I wonder if he's going to go for the slap. Unlocking crawlers early here. I do like playing chaff early, as it just allows you to kind of overwhelm your opponent. 5 units of chaff is pretty strong throughout the majority of the game. Royal International Pound, a giant specialist with Mustang and crawlers. A little bit tougher of a start, though I do love Mustang crawler starts just because you have a decent anti-air, decent chaff, and an okay wave clear unit. Mustang aren't the best at anything, but they're pretty darn good at most things, and that's why they're an A-list unit in my book. Maybe even S tier. They do handle things fairly well. It is going to be a pseudo slap here. Not everything was placed right on the front line, but I think this little sniper is in for a rough time. He's got a lot to clear. The right flank should be done. It's always the question in these headbutt slash slaps is if the opponent can kill the tower in time, and I think that Wei is going to lose his tower here. I don't know if it will be enough, though. I think every single tank, now the first tank has died, second tank has died, but the majority of Wei's army has also died, so I think the tanks will be more than enough to clear up the rest of this, unless that second tower drops. It does. Oh my, the collapse. Will this tower drop in time? Ooh, it does. Is there enough tanks here? I think Royal was hoping for a win here, but normally against a slap you do lose early in the game. And that's okay. Very small loss in round one. Wei's got to think about this a little bit more. I really like Royal's ability to kind of hold these units. Wei picks up the shield. Good idea, as all of his units are kind of focused in one area. The shield drop is much more important for the player who's playing aggressively than it is for the player who's not. Just because things like missiles tend to work exceedingly well against this kind of aggressive push. Oh wow, even an upgrade on the tanks early. Well, there wasn't really a lot of money spent, only $300 spent, and he is a supply specialist, so upgrading a unit early, not unheard of. I like the add-on of Stormcallers here. That's why these crawlers are so important. And the Stormcaller cheese by Royal. Well done, my good sir. Congratulations. This means that Royal will almost certainly kill this tower before this engagement actually begins. I don't know if it will be a little too early, just because this tower will die. Fantastic. Also, all of these tanks will probably go down, but not really many of these units are engaging fully yet. This entire unit of crawlers wasn't even touched while the tower was dropped. Now everything's back online, but it looks like these tanks are just fine. We'll have to see if it's enough. These guys may be able to push up, but those those Stormcallers are positioned really well to take out a line of tanks. There's a few infantry units left, but they're not really going to do anything. It's really all on the back of these level 2 tanks here, and I don't think they're ever going to have enough DPS to cut through these shields before the marksmen get to them. Yep. Before the tanks get the mechanical rage upgrade, they just fire so slowly. Oh, and the shield survives on just a little bit of health. That is unfortunate for Wei. If the shield had at least gone down, he would have been in a better spot. As it is, Wei is in a tough spot. Both players picking up the barrier here. Vulcan coming down for Royal just to guard this flank. Wei counters it initially with a melting point. He's going to need something to take care of these crawlers. Or sorry, these Stormcallers. A unit of crawlers isn't enough. You need to position them in such a way that the first round of Stormcaller shots go out just beyond this red line, preferably firing right about here. Oh no, he didn't. He just upgraded this command center. Well, it will be able to survive a barrage, maybe even 2. We'll see if it's enough. This melting point is going crazy. First shield's gone. Is it enough? I think this tower's still going to drop. 2 of them have gone down, but I wouldn't be surprised if these tanks get distracted. Background crawlers, really great play by Royal. He knows exactly how to play this. Both towers drop at an extremely good time, and this melting point won't even get on top of the Vulcan in time before it's absolutely flooded. I am really surprised by Wei's play there. Instead of upgrading the tower, he could have just played out a unit of crawlers, had an extra unit on the field, which is almost certainly better, and then been able to take out those Stormcallers. We'll have to see if that was kind of a setup play, but if it is, it's an odd one. This is the problem, is if your slap, or your headbutt in this case, doesn't end up going your way, and the enemy player knows how to deal with it, it's not a very good strategy. And Royal is going through this extremely well. Wei's in a very difficult position. He hasn't really added on very many powerful units to this, and now that it's being dealt with, all of his force is concentrated in one area, meaning he's in a much more difficult position, whereas Royal's able to spread out across his field quite well and continue to harass. Wei unlocks the Marksman, a very good choice. I say that, but I don't think it is a good choice. There's really no heavy units on the field for the Marksman to be shooting at, but worth unlocking it. I mean, it's free. Why not? This little Vulcan, at least the shield is down for Wei, but this little Vulcan is doing a great job for itself. Allied top 1 on damage and 62 kills. Great job, little guy. I think these tanks will eventually come good, but they really do need an upgrade if he hopes to win this. The Stormcallers will turn and shoot, so at least this tower won't drop for Wei. Oh my gosh, did you guys catch that? Royal just unlocked a War Factory. That's impressive. 1, 2, 3, probably all of the Stormcallers will go down here before anything is done. These tanks in the background, clear it off, no problemo. And now all we got to do is wait for this melting point to get online to take out the Vulcan. This is looking okay here for Wei. He's still got a good mix of infantry and tanks left. Once the shield drops, those tanks will be able to deal a little bit more damage. And while the Vulcan's focusing on the tanks, it's not doing a great job taking out the infantry. And if the Vulcan dies, yes, all of a sudden these snipers are in a much worse position. It should go the way of Wei. The way of Wei. Especially since this tower has an absurd amount of HP now. 23,400 HP. It will take the Vulcan many, many shots to kill it. Blep. Blammo. First time Royal has won this round, or won a round in a convincing manner. Just having that giant there to deal so much damage is very important. Both players pick the senior attack specialist. More important for the player with more ranged units, which in this case I would think that would be Wei, actually. There's the crawlers. Oh, and the tanks finally get their mechanical rage. This completely changes the unit. It goes from near garbage to just absolutely worth it. No War Factory played out yet. A War Factory producing Phoenix would be incredibly powerful, and he does have the ability to unlock it. This Vulcan's in a very good position to deal with the frontline aggression. And even if some crawlers were played out here, that would be, yes, very well done here, Royal. Very, very well done. These guys are kind of done. Unless you're going to apply more pressure, I just choose to recycle them. Because right now all they're doing is giving these sledgehammers a little bit of XP. And although most players won't upgrade them, it can become difficult if all of a sudden this background tank gets to like level 4 or some crap, and then comes and piles in. Very, very unlikely to happen. But in extremely long games, this tank might earn a level of 2 off of just killing these crawlers over and over again. Something to think about. Still no flanking units here by Wei. Normally, when you're the aggressor, you want to start playing the flanks as well, just to keep that momentum. You want your opponent to always be thinking about how do I counter that win, instead of thinking about what the most optimal play is. If you can continue to just deal damage to your opponent over and over and over again, then they're more likely going to keep trying to counter your units, just giving you a little bit more leverage. Also, once these Vulcan unlock the Scorching Flames ability, they're suddenly much better at killing medium units. All of a sudden, those tanks will be in a really hard way. The shield is extremely important. Look how much damage it's taken. The shields that are deployed have 50,000 HP as opposed to the regular 40,000 when you use that skill card. That's why those shields are lasting for significantly longer. Well, by about 25% more. But this should still go the way of Wei, just because this level 2 melting point. Although Stormcallers have good damage, they don't have level 2 melting point level of damage. Especially not against zoomy tanks. This guy just stole all the kills then died. Royal takes another small beating. Not the worst, though, but his hand has been shown. So one of the poor things about placing a giant right near the front is that it's very easy to get countered. Both players pick up the parasitic ammo. Now Wei's melting points have range. Interesting choice. I've seen more and more players do this, where they put the parasitic ammo. I have to select another unit, then reselect it for whatever reason. Put the parasitic ammo on melting points. Melting points tend to kill whatever they shoot at, so, that's pretty useful. But they don't really have the greatest splash damage, nor can they differentiate fire. Now, granted, the more wreckage that's created, i.e. the larger the unit that's killed, the better. So that's why I think more and more players are playing this on melting points, because if you kill a Vulcan, you'll spawn like 10 crawlers. Don't take my word for the exact number on those. I have never bothered to look. It's just significantly more. I do see it often played on Vulcans, though, because they'll just wipe out a unit of crawlers, and then occasionally you'll get like 5 or 6 extra crawlers out of it. So that's kind of worth it. Lots and lots of crawlers being spawned out here by this guy with the parasitic ammo. And that's why it's super impressive to have it on the Vulcan. Because also, when these tanks die, it just slows down the entire army. This little guy, I don't think he spawned a single crawler yet. And that's kind of a massive waste. So far, this $400 card has done nothing. Once the melting point gets online, if it ever gets online against the Vulcan, it will do extremely well. But until that time, it's not going to do so great. In fact, here it will probably do very, very well, as those little crawlers might be able just to eat up the sniper. Blap. It's the war of the crawlers now. How many spawned out? Well, we'll see. Maybe a dozen? It looked like about a dozen. Hard to tell with all the wreckage. It's very hard to tell. But Royal takes a good hit again. Wei is in a pretty good position here. He's got a good counter build going off. We'll have to see if this extended war factory comes out. Yeah, Royal picks it up. We have seen players pick this up before, but never play it on the war factory. Anti-air is still very much lacking here for Wei. I wouldn't be surprised if instead Royal just went with 3 units of, what are they called? Wasps. Wasps would do incredibly well here. Yeah, there's a couple of background Fang, but there's not a huge amount of them. There's the War Factory with a more increased range. Jesus, my lord, this thing's got 192 range. It outranges Stormcallers right now, and it has 4 separate shooting cannons. I like the idea of playing it in the back. Now, Royal's got to be real careful here. He does not have the efficiency module, so this War Factory is going to be costing him an extra 150 a round. He's only going to earn an extra $50 a round. That means that Wei is basically $150 up, $200 up. That's a lot of extra cash. Electromagnetic impact goes down just to slow down this Vulcan's damage a bit. Doesn't matter too much, as it's only just burning up against the shield. Man, this War Factory's doing great work. Killing a tank with every single shot. That's exactly what you want to see. This Vulcan's still having difficulties, but it doesn't actually affect the parasitic ammo. Oh, the Fortress takes it out, though. Man, look at this War Factory go. It does waste quite a few shots, but oh my word. It just kills off everything. This melting point doesn't outrange the War Factory. If it kills the tower, it might be able to get it, but I don't think so. Whoa. Yeah, Royal takes a little bit of damage there because the melting point spawned out a ton of crawlers. There's probably like 20 crawlers in there. Senior defense specialist for Royal. Makes sense, he has a lot of giants. I wouldn't be surprised if Wei went with, oh my gosh, 2 of these insane war factories. Wei has a little bit of cash extra this turn to make it work, but what does he do? Play out 3 more melting points? It's an option, right? But the melting points aren't doing a great job. Instead, he's going to play a Rhino with shields and some tanks in the background just to try and deal with this. The War Factory almost has range of it, though. And these tanks are, oof. They might be yesteryear's answer. Yeah, I think Phoenix are what's needed here. Phoenix and melting points, just because War Factories can't shoot up. But they can start spawning out units, and that's going to be absolutely terrifying. Once they start unlocking both the Steel Ball, the tank, and the Phoenix production, which he doesn't have Steel Ball production here. Oh, he does. He doesn't have tank production. If Royal unlocks both of these, that's a lot of extra units being spawned out. That's 4 extra units every 11 seconds. Oof. That's hard to deal with, but it is a huge cash investment. Given that the War Factories are already doing a great job, though, I wouldn't be surprised. It's not often you see a War Factory earn a level in 1 round, but this guy did. That's pretty terrifying. We'll have to keep an eye on this flank. Vulcan's been somewhat countered here by this Fortress's shields, but oh yeah, the Fortress shields are going down very, very quickly due to this War Factory just beating the hell out of it. If the Vulcan gets the kills, that's going to be a lot of crawlers. Yeah, several crawlers spawn out of there. Looks like this tanks are in the back line. Ooh, they're not going to be quick enough. And this War Factory, look at that one gun just pointed at the tanks. It's ready to fire. The ooh, they do have energy absorption available to them, but I don't think they'll unlock it. Or they don't have it unlocked. If the melting points had energy absorption, at least they'd be able to survive a little bit longer. Jeez, Wei might be dead in next round. Oh my god, he was almost dead now. Gee Louise, these War Factories are insane. I've never seen War Factories played like this. This is so cool. Maybe Orbital Bombardment here for Wei? Maybe. Tanks did an okay job. They earned themselves a level. I wouldn't be surprised if these War Factories got upgraded. How much damage would they do? 1,800 or 18,000 a shot? They'd kill everything. There's no reason to really have them that strong, actually. Well, maybe to get rid of this melting point in a shot or two. That might be worthwhile. Oh, wow. It's going to be Scorpions with more range. I'm surprised. The anti-air here is somewhat lacking for Royal. It's not bad, though. I mean, he's got several elite snipers and 2 units of Mustang. I mean, that's pretty darn good. It's going to be steel ball production just to help slow down these units on the ground. I like that. Wei is in a very, very difficult spot. Burning the Midnight Oil, a good choice. There's the third War Factory. We're going to see 3 units every 11 seconds, and these War Factories have insane range. Honestly, really well done by Royal. I'm going to have to try this out in my own games now. I was just playing some ladder for fun, and geez, this is pretty cool. I think that Wei slowed down the aggression a little bit too much. Like, the aggression got blunted by round 2. It really needed to continue to peak up. But not saying that Wei played this badly. I just think that these War Factories are insanely strong. Look at it go. Look at these hot little guys go. Gee Louise, the Orbital Bombardment's doing a fair job. Obviously a little bit better here for Royal than it is for Wei, as those shields drop very quickly. Golly! These things are just absolute killing machines. Every shot kills a unit. That's insanity. Absolute insanity. And these steel balls are just rolling out, just drawing fire. They're free. All that matters is that one War Factory survives. I do like the acid blast here by the Scorpions. It looks pretty darn cool. But it's not going to be enough, as those Scorpions just were firing at the steel balls the whole time. GG. Well played, Royal. That was super, super cool. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next round. Round 2 of the mini EU tournament, we have Thewhiteoftheegg versus Frost Duty. God, people are so creative. I love all these really cool names. Aerial specialist here is actually looking pretty good in my mind. I like marksmen, I like tanks, and pair this off with a couple of phoenixes, and you've got a really interesting army. Frost Duty, excuse me. Frost Duty immediately goes with the Steel Ball and Fang. Oh, interesting. Thewhiteoftheegg going with the heavy armor specialist. I do like this portrait. I believe it's one that Mechabellum has right now. Both of these are portraits that I believe you can pick up in the cosmetic store currently. If you haven't already, go check out the cosmetic store. There's some cool stuff in there. Both players standard opening, grabbing a couple of chaff units early. Very common, very normal. I do like mixing the Fang and Crawlers. I think this is a good decision. Just because the Crawlers can hold any flying units. They can't fight them, but flying units will stop to shoot at them, and it gives you time for your Fang to advance and do some little plinking damage. It looks like Thewhiteoftheegg is going to go for a pseudo headbutt. Oh, I'm not in love with this. It's not a bad spot for Thewhiteoftheegg, but I think that he just doesn't have the unit composition for this. There isn't really a hard damage dealing unit here. The tanks are okay, don't get me wrong, and there's quite a few crawlers here. And it looks like the majority of Thewhiteoftheegg's army will survive that engagement, maybe only losing 1 unit of crawlers for, and maybe a full unit of Fang for 3 units, so not bad. 2 to 3 chain, and he'll get the tower first. Generally, that's not what you want to have happen. We'll have to see where these Fang end up going. If they go straight into the tanks, this is going to be an issue. The Steel Balls look like they're going for the tower. Oh, that might be their doom. Steel Balls normally take out towers very, very quickly, though. We'll have to see. It looks like both players will engage basically at the same time. Tower drops, not looking great here. And Frost Duty takes a bit of damage. Quite common, as I mentioned in the last game. If your opponent headbutts you, you tend to lose the first 1, maybe 2 rounds. But after that, the impetus tends to shift back towards the player who's defending. Now, if... Oh, wow. Skip, huh? Intensive training is actually quite good to have at this point. Generally, you'll get 5 uses out of it, but it looks like Frost Duty wanted to save the extra 50. He could have used it there. Looks like both players skipped. Interesting. Okay, grabbing a Vulcan here. He could have had that Vulcan and leveled it to level 2 if he'd chosen to. No real point in leveling it to level 2 yet, but having a level 2 Vulcan early is really difficult to deal with. At 162 damage a shot, they can actually melt through tanks pretty darn quickly. I like to grab it, play out the Vulcan, immediately level it, just so that I know next round it will be level 2, and then play out some more chaff to guard it next turn. So, just is what it is. More tanks here by White of the Egg. Looks like there's no flanking units for either player yet. Generally around round 3, round 4, we'll start to see that take place. Wow, with the Vulcan here, it's quite a different story when it comes to the chaff wars. These little steel balls aren't great at clearing out the chaff here on the left. Once they are free, though, they'll be able to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if this Vulcan literally kills everything on this flank. Vulcans are actually surprisingly good at killing tanks. Like, surprisingly good. Just because they have good splash damage. Ooh, 1 tank left on like 1 HP. With that tower drop, though, going on the left, I think this Vulcan's got it, and may actually earn himself the level just by killing all these darn things. Very close. Looks like my tactic of immediately leveling the Vulcan would have been wasted. Frost Duty knows what he's doing. Congratulations. White of the Egg is sitting on a lot of cash right now. Frost Duty does pick up the fire control system, puts it on the Vulcan. That makes it a level 2 Vulcan in damage. If you can get this thing to level 2 next, it would be considered a level 4 Vulcan in damage. That's a lot of damage. White of the Egg probably wants the improved fire control system as well, or the speed specialist. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't pick up the speed specialist. Looks like it's just a few more crawlers coming out here for Frost Duty. A good choice. Having a few more units just to protect that Vulcan is very, very useful. Now, White of the Egg has a good chance. He could put a melting point right at the front to try and take care of this Vulcan, but it's not ideal. Stormcallers are going to be split, and the tanks finally get their attack upgrade. Granted, it's only round 3, so that's actually quite quick. Have to see how that goes. Man, this Vulcan's going to just make short work of everything. The Stormcallers do a great job at blunting those early tank attacks as they're spawning in. Because the tanks have to stand still, 2 die to 2 Stormcaller shots. Not bad. Looks like the left is going to go the exact same way as usual, but this tank will be able to kill, or this Vulcan will be able to kill the tanks that much quicker. These guys have double the HP, though. Quite a few of them are standing in the flames. It's probably going to hurt them quite a bit. Yeah, 4 drop at the exact same time. And I think even if the Vulcan dies, the left flank would be enough to take care of this. Oh my. If this Vulcan gets to level 2, White of the Eggs is going to be in a really tough spot. We'll have to see what Frost Duty does. Upgrading a unit this early isn't normal, but it's not uncommon. Frost Duty picks up the Assault Vulcan and gives it range just to offset that Assault Vulcan. This guy is insanely powerful now. Gives it a shield. Oh, and well played by White of the Egg, realizing that there's just so much on the back of this Vulcan. What if he gives it an Overlord? He'll at least have a lot of pressure this round. An Overlord can be killed by Fang under extreme circumstances, but it's very unlikely. So I think that this was a great choice by White of the Egg. And some good pressure here by the Fang, just keeping up that damage over here on the left. Unfortunately for these tanks, their days are over. They're all just going to burn basically immediately. Wow, look at them just drop dead. Good missiles are coming down, though, wiping out the majority of the units on the right-hand flank for White of the Egg. Frost Duty's in a pretty tough spot on that right-hand flank. The Vulcan's going to be able to hold this for a very long time, but not forever. Overlords do hurt pretty badly. They fire rapidly. Those 4 shots each do 3,654 damage. Down goes the tower. It's going to get the second tower here. These steel balls could level. The steel balls are actually going to provide a little bit of a delay here, but these Fang are definitely dead. I think it takes 3 units of Fang coming in from different angles to down an Overlord, and even then, that's under extreme pressure. Like, the Overlord has to be wounded or just constantly distracted. What? Okay. Sorry, I was taken aback there. Oh, the War Factory comes out with Missile Interceptor. Okay. Not something we see commonly done. Purpose of this is that the Overlord shoots missiles as its standard attack until it... Oh, and it can't unlock Overlord Artillery. Wow, that's something we don't see every day either. So without the Overlord Artillery, this War Factory just neuters the Overlord. It will not be able to fire and land a shot, or at least it's exceedingly unlikely, while the War Factory is out. War Factory also deals with this tank aggression incredibly well, as we've seen in the last game, or the previous game, I should say. Each one of these shots from the War Factory, yeah, it kills a level 1 tank. Not quite killing a level 2 tank, but hey, this Vulcan's not doing a bad job at killing tanks either. Almost at level 3 itself. This is a really weird one. That's not something you see very often. The War Factory is going to have an insanely good time just killing off all these tanks. And once it's able to start spawning out Phoenixes, this War Factory is going to be in a really good spot. It's already gunned down several tanks. Looks like this left-hand flank falls even quicker than normal, or than previously. War Factory's up to 34 kills. Not bad. It can't shoot up, but, I mean, it definitely can shoot up. If those things could hit the whatever. Oh, wow, the missile even gets dropped here. It feels like the War Factory should be able to shoot up. I mean, look, those bullets are passing right through the Overlord. And now we're going to have to watch this Overlord just slowly be killed by Fang. Is there even enough time for the Fang? Maybe? I don't know, dude. This is kind of sad. Fly away, little Overlord. Fly away. Blap. Well, one of these guys earned a level. It was these guys. Fang Oh my god. Jeez. Frost Duty almost won. It is weird that the War Factory is the one unit that costs 800 but only does 600 damage. Very strange. There's the bombardment, just to try and shut that down. Oh, and an Overlord of his own. Where's that bad boy going? In the flank. Wow, with super heavy armor. Okay. I like that. Overlords pick up the Overlord, or the Launcher Overload, which may be enough to get through. If this War Factory is shut down, if no shield is played here, then Frost Duty is going to be in a really tough spot. He doesn't play a shield. We'll have to see how this goes. Oh, there's the tech down. And the Overlords are firing. And they're making short work of this guy. I believe that's going to be it. This Overlord is kind of stuck shooting at crawlers for some reason. Oh my. Well, there certainly is not enough anti-air to deal with these 3 Overlords. Even with both towers dropping, unless this Overlord engages in a perfect style, I doubt anything can be done here. Well played by White of the Egg, able to hold on for at least one more round. He won't have that electromagnetic blast next turn. Frost Duty is also quite low on cash in comparison. We'll have to see this Overlord engagement. Both towers drop at basically the same time. This little guy is going to have slightly more range, but he's going to shoot at tanks first. Also has considerably more HP, but doesn't matter when you're fighting 3. 3 times HP does not mean you're going to beat 3 dudes. It just means 3 dudes are going to beat the crap out of you. Both players skip. Wow, I didn't even get to see what was there. Like a 2-second look. Alright. White of the Egg, you didn't pick up any new tricks. How are you going to deal with this Overlord? He knows now about this flanking Overlord, and it's going to happen much sooner. White of the Egg's got a lot of fires to put out very quickly. He was hoping, I don't think he was hoping to win that round, but maybe do a little bit more damage. At 1800 HP, even if White of the Egg wins, Frost Duty may survive. He's only got 1200 damage and Giants on the field. Alright, it looks like White of the Egg is just going to try and slow down that flank. Frost Duty burns the oil. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays out another War Factory. Playing a secondary war factory on the other flank would basically secure his victory. Or popping another one on this flank just to make sure that there isn't any tomfoolery in the form of just mass overlords. I don't think the war factory is going to be able to shoot down all these missiles. Instead, it's going to be range on a background melting point. I mean, it can work, hypothetically. It doesn't feel very strong, but it can work. Once this might actually be a mistake here by Weitei. Once all of these crawlers die to this missile, these guys should just run away, which will mean that this overlord's going to take the tower very, very quickly. Although it is level 2. We'll have to see. Missiles drop out. Here comes the overlords. They should start firing here momentarily. Looks like the majority of the shots are being taken out. That's definitely slowing down their DPS, but it's not quite enough. And once this war factory drops, these overlords are going to be in a great position. This old boy is super slow, and that's going to be that. Well played here. Very well played by Weitei. Oh, this melting point's actually in a pretty good position, though. Down goes the tower. If the melting point can kind of realize what he's meant to be shooting at, he's going to be in a much better position. No, that's probably it for that round. We'll have to see, though. I mean, this overlord might be able to hit a little bit. Oh, not quite. I was going to say it might be able to take out one more of these overlords. Last round. Frost Duty has the ability to cancel these overlords. He knows they're all here. Skill specialist for Weitei. Instead plays out more melting points. Very interesting. I do think he would just win if he'd played out a secondary war factory with more anti-air capabilities or anti-missile capabilities. Instead, just playing a ton of melting points. Probably the same effect, but the melting points can be canceled quite well by these motherships. The mothership upgrade just spawning out a ton of wasps. That's a lot of wasps coming onto the field. We'll have to see if this works. Overlord's going to be massively slowed down. Man, this is kind of what I was thinking about last game when I was talking about the aggression being slowed down. Weitei has just kept piling on aggression onto this one focal point. This command center hasn't even been upgraded. At this point, definitely not worth it. We'll have to see. Lots of missiles pop down. It looks like the tanks are all dead again. Overlord, oh my god, they're cutting through these guys so quickly. And that's a whole bunch of wasps. I think it's too many wasps. This guy's been delayed quite heavily. Well played there. Just choosing not to go with mass defense and instead just slowing it down enough. Really well played here. Weitei, 36 HP. This has just been an insanely good tournament. Man, round 1 was fantastic. Round 2 is fantastic. Look at this. Look at all these wasps. He spawned like 2 units of wasps at this point, if not more. God, this overlord's got to be crapping its pants. Run! Run for your life! They're coming! He should be able to take this tower, though. And he does. Maybe even able to shoot and scoot away. Fly, little overlord, fly! There's only more wasps coming for you. Oh, interesting. The wasps that spawn aren't weakened. I did not realize that. Alrighty, GG. We will see you guys in the next round. Let me know in the comments below whether or not you guys prefer to know who's in the finals or not. Because I understand some people just want to skip ahead to that final match. That's why I leave the timestamps below. 99% of the time. I do forget every once in a while. But I'm not sure if people want to know who actually makes it to the end and who doesn't. Both these players have been playing for a very long time. Oh, look at the love. Man, Mechabellum, although there are some people who are a little rude, I played against a guy in a very recent tournament who I ended up beating, and he called me a noob the entire game. And I was like, well, I mean, I got to the semifinals and then lost, but I still beat you, nerd. Well, but such is life. In any online game, you're going to encounter that. It looks like this is quite the headbutt, but I like this quite a bit more. Just because these crawlers, yeah, good positioning on the crawlers. They're going to pull all these units back into the main army. So by creating this style of force, you're going to have 4 or 5 units fighting 2 units, which should be able to capitalize very quickly. But then you only have a quarter or maybe even a little bit over half a unit pulling all the rest of these guys back into your set of 5 units. Very, very powerful move. I like that a lot. Given the engagement angle, this tower should drop just about the time everybody hits. Yes, that's exactly well played here by Dilo. That's exactly what you want to see. And now all of these Mustang are able to wrap back around, kill off the enemy Mustang, which are the real threat here. And now it's just Mustang versus a little bit of crawlers and some Phoenix, which the Phoenix are already hard countered by these 2 snipers. Really well played there by Dionysus. Really, really well played. I may have said Dilo before. Supply specialist for Dionysus, and it looks like Steelsane. Both players know what they're doing. They're picking so quick. We'll check and see what Steelsane's starting specialist is in here in a moment. Improved Wraith by Steelsane. Ooh, and Wraiths come out, but they're going to be expensive. You're playing a Giant? Okay, but he could unlock them. And having that extra range on the Wraith is very powerful. Is he going to play him out first? Honestly, I like the idea of just grabbing a couple more Mustang here. Looks like Dionysus went with the redeployment, moving this marksman over a little bit. I guess somewhere. Where did he put the marksman? Ah, on the left flank. Okay. Wasn't super impressed with its performance last time anyway, so just having it here isn't a bad idea. Really strange. Where's that Wraith going? On the flank. Oh, wow! Dionysus with his, like, super gamer sense, able to find the Wraith, but you know what? I think this thing's just too strong. This marksman's gonna need the aerial specialization if he has any chance of killing it. Of course, this means that the forward flank is absolutely lost, as nothing has changed here. -1 marksman. But Dionysus able to get a few more upgrades. Yeah, this thing's gonna survive. It's going to take a little bit of damage, but it's going to come down to that 1 Wraith versus the rest of Dionysus's army. It really depends on how quickly it kills the tower. That sniper was able to do good damage, but I think the tower drops are going to happen basically at the same point in time. Oh, that delay is actually quite bad here for Steelsane. Steelsane was our European Advanced Group Tournament winner. And he's an aerial specialist. Oh, the tower finally drops, but is it too little too late? I think it was too little too late. There's a couple of snipers. Yeah, they make it happen. And Steelsane takes quite a beating. Man, playing a flying giant in the form of a Wraith. That's kind of an odd one. Oh. Portable shield actually would be incredibly good here for Steelsane. If you gave it to this dude, I mean, that's an extra 20,000 HP. So the portable shield works off of how much unit HP has, or how much HP your unit has. So if you put it on something like a fortress, all of a sudden that fortress just has an insane amount of HP. I think this was the better choice for Steelsane. Just get a Vulcan. It kills literally everything here exceedingly easily. I think that's the right choice, and it looks like that Wraith was recycled. Very interesting choice there. Dionysus does not know about this Vulcan. And I think it's going to absolutely wreck him. Man, that Vulcan's going to do an extremely good job. Alright. Well, oh, and I like this. Just keep the aggression. Keep these units on the flank for a moment. I don't know if this crawler was exceedingly necessary, but it will pull all of these units away, at least for a moment. That way the Vulcan can do all of its work. There's no heavy or medium units here. That's generally what you want to fight a Vulcan. So, you know, putting a fortress or even 2 fortresses, one here, one there, with shields would be extremely strong. But Steelsane's starting to build his little box. And I like that a little bit better than going for an all-out aggressive push. See, the marksman with the electromagnetic shot, pretty good. But even if the Vulcan had range, all of these units are coming at the Vulcan anyways. So the Vulcan's going to have no problems cleaning everything up. This Rhino, though, is a different story. The Rhino is a medium-sized unit, and it should be able to take everything, no problem. Down goes the tower, though, and now the Vulcan will be able to reign supreme for just a moment longer. If there had been a couple of Phoenix over on this flank, it would have worked out. The Rhino's almost dead, though. Oh, wow. Yeah, what a different story. Even with the death of this tower, the Rhino's screwed. It's not going to be able to punch down the Vulcan. It might be able to punch down the Vulcan. It's getting close. No, not quite. Half HP. Down goes the other tower. Still, I think this Vulcan's got it. It's too much HP and it's too much damage. Oh, it's slow little boy, though. The Vulcan does not have it. Steelsane loses another round. Forgive my predictions. Well, we will have to see. Interesting that a lot of players have also been predicting for Steelsane. Giant killer here by Dionis. Not a bad choice, but it's going to take him 2 rounds to earn that money back. I don't know. Looks like Driz has bet for Steelsane. Good for Driz. Good for Driz. Field recovery. Interesting. What's going to be recovered? Those Mustang? Yeah, Mustang get moved from the back. Instead, 2 level 2 Mustang with range are played at the front. Well, those Mustangs were just upgraded and given range. Steelsane's sitting on a lot of cash. I think if he played another Vulcan and gave them both range, he would be in an incredibly good position. As there's no medium units left on the field. Even without it, just, yeah, having this one Vulcan with range is quite good. And some more Phoenix. Vulcan Phoenix is a very, very powerful build. There's a 3rd set of Phoenix. Yes. Yes. Alright, shield is going to go quite a long way into protecting these Mustang. Quite a long way. So, Vulcan paired with Phoenix, paired with Stormcallers or tanks, is incredibly powerful. Like, just insanely powerful. This little guy is really oddly placed. He's not quite fast enough to kill the tower. He will be able to kill some of these crawlers at least, but he'll die to these Phoenix. Okay, weird positioning there. I'm sure there's a purpose for that I am missing, but it feels like that guy was just born to die. That's not exactly how you want to be known. I was born to die. Alright, now the Vulcan should be able to light up basically everything, even with the drop in range here. All of these units have to run into range of the Vulcan anyways, or at least very close to it. This tower is level 2, so it's going to take a very long time to die. Oh, but not long enough for that the Vulcan goes down. Very close, though. Very, very close. And Dionis takes his first loss in the series. Not bad. Not a bad loss. If the Vulcan had survived, it would have been even, but not bad at all. Wouldn't be surprised if both players don't pick up the top supply specialist here. It pays itself off in another 2 rounds. Totally worth it. We're only on round 5. Most games go to around 8 or 9. So, probably worthwhile here. Is he going to give this guy range? Is that the idea? No, he just moves it. Okay. I mean, yeah, this has been our wandering, our little wandering boy, just constantly trying to find his way home. Not a bad choice. Steelsane still has 300 bucks. Dionis hasn't played out anything yet. He's got the Scorpions unlocked. Scorpions are okay in this situation. They do clear chaff kind of well. It's just that they take a little while to fire, and that's really where they kind of fall off. But they don't really die to crawlers or to Fang. So they're not a bad wave clear system, and they do pack a considerable punch. We shall see. In fact, if the Vulcan starts burning on the Scorpion wins that fight. Just because the Vulcan takes a very long time to kill the Scorpion. There's all the money spent. Dionis still has another 300 bucks. Incoming sip of water. That's what I was waiting for. The assault marksman. It's becoming more and more common. It is shut down hard by Phoenix with range, but or Stormcallers with electromagnetic shot, or tanks with electromagnetic shot. Basically anything with electromagnetic shot. I prefer the tank, just because the tanks deal with Mustangs quite well as well. Pair the tanks with some crawlers and you're in a good spot, but the Vulcan shouldn't be able to deal with these marksmen very well. Yeah, look how long it's taken to kill it, but there are enough Phoenix here just to kind of deal with that. Because the marksmen have to march forward, it puts them in range of the Phoenix. That's really where we see those Phoenix fall off. Now it's all up to the Vulcan, but the Vulcan should be more than a match for everything that's left on the field. Eventually able to burn off this Vulcan, or this marksman, no problem. Vulcan doing a great job. Vulcan lives. I am a huge Salamanders fan in Warhammer 40,000. for the Emperor and his people. In fact, I have a small Space Marine squad that I've been painting as Vulcan's best boys. Improved firepower for Steelsane. Yeah, it goes right onto the Vulcan. 340 damage a shot. I mean, that's just good. I haven't seen players ever use the Scorching Flame recently. Everybody has it. In fact, I build my Vulcan in the exact same loadout, and I almost never unlock the Scorching Flames. I know it's incredibly powerful, but the range is just so much more important that I just always get this and never get that. It's super strange. I would like to see more players use the Scorching Flames, because I know it's incredibly powerful. I just don't use it. And neither does anybody else, apparently. Still nothing on the flanks here for either player. I feel like that's a missed opportunity for Steelsane. Not as much here for Dionis, as he's kind of put all of his marbles in one basket, just trying to go towards the front. Push, push, push. Not a bad play. My gosh, look at all these Phoenix. That's the kind of Phoenix spread I like to see. Well done. A lot more Mustang coming out. I'd like to see... and here's our traveling marksman. Go, little buddy, go. Where's he going? I guess all the way in the back here. Okay. Said it's going to be another Scorpion to take his place. Not a bad choice. A bit of shielding here. See, the shields work fairly well until about round 4. Then I found that deployables tend to fall off until the very late game, where buying, just an extra 2 or 3 seconds really does make a difference. And that's around round 8, round 9. Man, these assault marksmen just getting picked off by the Phoenix. Really not pulling their weight anymore, and that's just leaving these Scorpions really overexposed. Scorpions can't shoot up, and this is going to be a huge amount of damage coming out onto Dionis. I really liked the early plays, but I think Dionis has fallen a little bit behind here. Well, a little bit behind. He's going to be several thousand HP behind. Oh my. Almost 3,000 HP behind. That's got to hurt. Lightning Storm for Dionis. Quick knee-jerk pickup. Yeah, he kind of needs it. He needs something to take care of these Phoenix. It's going to be mass Phoenix killing. I think the Assault Marksman may have been a poor choice here, as Dionis is really only playing these 3 units, which is Scorpion, Mustang, and Marksman. He does have a few of these crawlers set out, but the crawlers aren't doing anything at this point. Level 3 Vulcan with the improved firepower. This thing's a killer. Oh, Steelsane, just for me. Hear me through the internet. No, I wanted the Scorching Flame so bad. That would have been pretty funny. Oh, I like this play by Dionis. What a cool play. So the idea is oil comes down, Vulcan turns to shoot the Rhino, sets the whole left hand of this field on fire. At least it gets rid of 2 units. Very expensive thing to do just to get rid of 2 units, but it is what it is. There's going to be some Wasps without shields. Yeah, those Wasps are mega dead because these little guys are going to make it in there without any problem. Oh well, and this is actually going to backfire a little bit here for Dionis, as that Rhino will be the thing stuck in the oil and then stuck in the flames afterwards. It's not where you want to be. Scorpions do have the double acid and range increase, so they should be able to deal with Vulcans quite well, but they still can't shoot up, and the anti-air is getting shut down here very, very hard. There goes a missile, almost missing. Fire burns away, and down goes the Rhino without more of a whimper than anything else. The Lightning Storm's doing an alright job, honestly. It's cleared out 1 unit, and that's it. The Rhino in the background may be able to claim the tower. It does not, and this is not looking like it's going to go the way of Dionis. Although the increased range on the Mustang is very nice, I just don't think it's enough. It's not going to be enough. And these marksmen, I love the Assault Marksman playstyle. I've played against it several times. It's never worked out for the player with it, just because the marksmen have to step out too far. And it's really important that your positioning is great there. Because the marksmen have to step up beyond the Mustang, and they were the things that were the next in line because these crawlers were dying, it just didn't work out. Oh well. We will see you guys in the next round. Our finals, we have White of the Egg versus Steelsane. Neither player has that good of an opening hand. This cost control specialist looks quite good for Steelsane. Rhino specialist could be very good for White of the Egg. Rhino specialist is right now considered the strongest or by many. I don't consider it the strongest just because that power spike happens a little bit too late in the game for me. Generally by round 4, you haven't won or lost, but it's pretty one-sided. And if you're selling something, unlocking and selling something for $300, so a lot of players say, oh, well, you can just unlock the, you can just recycle the Rhino and get $300. Yeah, but it costs $100 to unlock the field recovery. Then you recycle your Rhino, that's $200 net profit. You're basically a quick supply specialist who doesn't get the money up front. That's terrible. So the Rhino can be useful, don't get me wrong. And it unlocks Rhinos for free, so it's a $50 value there. But still definitely not worth it in my point of view. Steelsane has the Marksman Specialist. I hate this specialist. I don't know why players pick it, but if it comes with a pretty powerful opening hand, I see why it's chosen. In this case, we have White of the Egg coming in with some Fang and tanks. Not a bad choice. And a whole bunch of crawlers. Okay. Not a super great headbutt, but neither player are playing very aggressively right now. These Mustanger have so much work to do. They have to kill a ton of chaff. And they're the only chaff killing unit right now on the field here for Steelsane. They're not doing a poor job of it, though. Unfortunately, once the Mustangs start getting targeted down by the tanks, all of a sudden that chaff killing power goes way down. Left flank is going to hold pretty darn long here, all things considered. But it will fall at a very inopportune moment here for Steelsane, as there's still a couple of these Mustang on the field to kill off a little bit more chaff. But once those crawlers killed that level 3 marksman, they've earned themselves a level. Or whoever killed the marksman earned itself a level. These sledgehammers. And the sledgehammers going up to level 2 is actually quite bad here for White of the Egg. If they decide to go up to level 2. It's kind of an expensive thing to do early in the game. But, man, do they hit hard. And do they have a ton of HP. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he does it. Wasp Swarm is quite good. This early in the game, you don't often see Wasp Swarm on round 2, but when it does come out, it's quite good. Steelsane plays it in the background where there isn't really a lot of anti-air. I would have liked it if he played it on this flank, but that just means that the Wasps would get carried away trying to kill the crawlers. In fact, I think the Wasp Swarm can take on a single unit of Fang, but in this case, the Wasps are going to get collapsed on. Opting to upgrade the tanks here for White of the Egg, Steelsane is going to be in a really tough position against these level 2 tanks. The Marksman does 7,000 damage. Yeah, the tanks are able to absorb one shot from that Marksman, which normally means they're able to close the distance and kill it. Good choice in the Stormcaller, though. Yeah, it looks like these Fang are going to be able to clear away the majority of the Wasps. Not all of them, but the majority of them. 3 Wasps. That's going to take a long time to kill the tower. But it should still drop. And White of the Egg's aggression is kind of fumbling a bit. Wow. Double tower drop. Now these tanks are in a really bad position. 2 tanks. Can the tanks tank? Almost certainly not, as they're going to be really low on damage for quite a while. And tanks already suffer from just having the worst firing rate possible. Well played by White of the Egg. But even better by Steelsane. Just pulling that army apart and really moving through all the right means to get around those flanks. Very, very important. Strike Specialist might be good here for Steelsane if he chooses to continue that aggression. No, instead opting for the Assault Scorpion. Yeah, get rid of the tanks. Scorpions work really well against killing tanks just because they have such a good AoE blast. These crawlers are more than enough to take on a unit of Fang. Scorpion right at the front here. Yeah, he really wants it to kill these level 2 sledgehammers. And we've seen this against, like, the majority... Ooh, interesting. The majority of our games, we've seen this kind of very forward tank aggression, and I don't think it's worked out, besides when paired with a whole bunch of Overlords. We could see that happen again here, and I think that was White of the Egg's game. You guys have the ability to watch this all at once. For me, like 30 to 40 minutes passed in between games. Ooh, this Scorpion's in a bad spot. He's a little bit too far forward. Getting a few good shots off there. Looks like this tower will drop almost immediately, even though it's upgraded. Man, that upgrade needs to last for another 5 seconds. It doesn't last quite long enough, but it's not a huge issue, as the Stormcallers are shooting kind of at random, and those tanks are overwhelmed very quickly. We'll have 3-ish units of slightly upgraded tanks versus the majority of, or the rest of this army. Should do quite well here. Even though there's a tower drop, I think there's just enough tanks here. There isn't really any good tank killers left on the field. And Steelsane takes a little bit of damage. Not a huge amount, but a good amount. Let's see if Weitei does opt for to recycle this Rhino, and then instead grab a whole bunch of Overlords. That seems to be a, well, ooh. Ho ho ho. Heavy Overlords are quite good. Nope, opts to skip. There's our next Scorpion. Take out this flanking sledgehammer, but there is enough space here for some crawlers. Rhino in the background should not do much if Thewhiteoftheegg realizes it could be a problem. He does need to deal with these crawlers. Now that they're level 2, they're going to get in there and kill everything a little bit quicker. Oh, this is looking pretty dangerous. The Rhino's just going to go right in at the front. Rhinos have a good amount of HP, 38,000 HP, but this guy does 12,000 damage a shot. And it only takes a couple of shots here to put this Rhino in the dirt. Yeah, I guess 3, but he's going to get a little bit of background fire as well. We shall see. Steelsane plays his cash very quickly, and I appreciate him doing that. It does make the games go a little bit quicker, but I'm the kind of player that I play my money real fast too, and then I realize, like, oh crap, I should have been doing this, this, and this. You know, I've been trying to force myself to think for like an extra 5 seconds before playing. I think some tanks on this flank would go really well here for Thewhiteoftheegg. Oh, and it's going to be an arc light for Thewhiteoftheegg, just to help get rid of these crawlers. Okay. Isn't really anything here that can deal with the Rhino that's coming down, but we'll see what happens. Looks like the little flanking guys don't really get much done. All of these tanks should die very quickly. We'll have to see if the Scorpion dies very quickly. It hasn't died yet. Wow, it's gotten a lot of value already. Oh my, and it looks like the Rhino isn't going to be able to get the tower in time either. Whoa, that's unexpected. All the Scorpions are now dead though, and without those Scorpions there to push out damage, I don't think this is going to work. Can these 3 little Fang... Oh my god, they did bring it down. Oh, the giant killers. They will be remembered. Those 3 musketeers, how they march nobly towards their deaths. It's like the Fellowship of the Ring. They didn't quite make it, did they? Ooh, and the missile pops. That's gotta hurt. I bet Thewhiteoftheegg's quite happy about that. Just having that missile pop on nothing is so powerful. Tanks might actually drop here. Oh, not quite. I thought we were going to see a draw scenario. You don't often see a draw, but it does happen. Both these players are very, very closely tied, actually. Barrier here for Steelsane. Which giant is he going to pick? Tank production for Thewhiteoftheegg. Is Thewhiteoftheegg finally going to play out? Oh no, it's going to be a Vulcan. There it is. There's the Overlord. I was going to say, why a Vulcan? I think just to clear away this chaff like a quarter of a second quicker. It's not the worst play in the world, but man, this Overlord is going to really show out with the tank production. I wonder if Thewhiteoftheegg has war factories with tanks, because he could upgrade these tanks a little bit more, you know, maybe get them the armor enhancement or the range, and then play out like 3 or 4 war factories. Of course, this isn't like a 5-round thing, and just have them spawning out tank after tank that just zooms down the battlefield with range. That would be insane. I do like the shielding on this Vulcan, though. That will help a huge amount. There is a good amount of anti-air here, actually, as well. This level 4 marksman does 9,000 damage a shot. Yeah, in 2 shots, it will kill this Overlord. So the Overlord's a little bit nervous about that, I'm sure, but it does have a little bit of protection in the form of these sledgehammers. Steelsane opts to play out crawlers instead. A unit of crawlers here wouldn't go amiss. They die very quickly, but holding those units in place for an extra second might be useful. I don't think they are, but Alright, this Vulcan just marches forward, clears away all the chaff. Not bad. Gets in a little bit of damage against the Rhino, and there it is. Able to clear away the rest of this. Not the rest of it, but a good amount of it before dropping. Overlord just absolutely melts the Vulcan, and everything else is able to push forward without much of an issue. There's one Scorpion left, but these Scorpions need a little bit of support. They need something at the front. I think actually playing, leaving those Stormcallers up and playing something that causes fire to like stick, either having those Stormcallers lay down fire or the Vulcan that lays down fire, would be worthwhile. Steelsane takes a huge beating here. And let's see if Weitei just goes full broke and plays out a whole bunch of Overlords. It worked out last time. Range Specialist is huge for both players. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them pick him up. Laser Sight for Weitei. Wow. That increased range would be very powerful. That 12 units is actually quite a bit. Because then you can unlock the range on the rest of your units, and they... Oh no, advanced firepower. Okay, 200% more damage, but what's it going to go on? Looks like this Overlord's going to get the range. The level 4 sniper is now gone. Alright. You know, I hate to say it, but the answer might be a War Factory here for Steelsane. It was the early answer in our last game as well, but it could easily shut down all of the damage coming out of these Overlords, and it performs really well against tanks. But it's a very, very expensive investment. I feel like there just needs to be a little bit more at the front here. Maybe popping down this incendiary bomb, but that's why these little guys are so close. By putting these guys a little bit closer, it means that the incendiary bomb from the Vulcan would go right instead of forward. Oh, double Vulcan. Okay. With the Scorching Flames. Steelsane's going to try and push this flank in. He might be able to, actually. With that Wasps. Or with the Wasps. Interesting missile placement there. Just to slow down this flank quite a bit. It doesn't really do much damage, but boy does it slow it down. And the Vulcan are doing an okay damage. It's the Scorching Flames. Helps a little bit. I don't think it killed any of the tanks, but it wounded and got rid of all of these units just that much quicker. Looks like this tower is going to drop very quickly. Those Mustang in the background have a lot of work to do. But that tower drop is very important, as now the Scorpion's going to be able to get in there and deal the damage it needs to. Man, the Vulcan with the Scorching Flames, oh, almost got all of the tanks. Alright, we'll see how this works out. Down goes one Overlord. We still got our spawner. And it drops. Well, Steelsane holds on by just a little bit there, but I bet he's happy about not losing. I mean, that's the whole point of the game, right? Round 7. Ooh, Giant Hunter here for Steelsane is very powerful, but he might opt for the blast. Heavy Overlords is really quite good, though. No, neither. What did he grab? It looks like Steelsane may have skipped. There's the blast coming out. There's nothing that can contend this flank. I'd be so tempted to play a Vulcan on this flank. Oh my gosh, 3 Rhinos. Oh man, just putting all 3 of those on the flank there would be incredible. Instead, these guys are just going to try and punch in the front. It may be enough. This one shield is actually going to absorb so much of this damage. Steelsane still has a bunch of cash. I would not predict 3 level 3 Rhinos coming down. Rhinos are kind of one of those units that you play once and hope for the best, but Steelsane instead opts to play a few more missiles, or a missile, and the oil. I think that's a wise decision. I think if Steelsane was to place some units closer to the front, heck, even just a unit of Mustang right at the front here, to kind of chase this in a little bit better, he could win that flank a little bit earlier. A unit's recycled, maybe another Scorpion. Off to the flank, just to gun down these units a little bit better. Yeah, there's the Scorpion. He's got 10 seconds to place it. Oh, it's going to go down the left flank. Alright, oil's going to help an insane amount here, as it should slow and burn everything. There goes all the chaff. Oh, almost all the chaff. I don't think the blast radius is quite enough on these scorpions, though. There's still 2 scorpions up. There goes one of the scorpions. Oh, will the rhino die? It looks like it will just die, but that's probably it. And this is not looking great here for Steelsane. He's got a lot of units left to kill, and his important scorpion that's meant to be killing this tower is alone and afraid out in no man's land. Gets gunned down instantly. Oh. Alright. That's a lot of damage coming out. That's a lot of damage. Steelsane takes a huge hit here, putting him well and truly in the danger zone. He cannot lose another round. Round 8. Man, I'm really gonna try this. Like, what a really cool way to play. Mobilized battleship could be very powerful for either player at this point, really. Why do the egg believe so? Steelsane might choose the deployment specialist, though. It's pretty late in the game, but he might just want the cash to pump out a few more Mustang and give them the aerial specialization, just so that they gun down these units immediately. There's some more overlords. More overlords. Wow. Looks like we're going to double tap here with the scorpions. It will be better at killing off these rhinos that have a lot of extra HP. Missiles coming down on the left. Great play here by Weitei. Just realizing he's in a tough spot. I think Steelsane needs to play out a unit of crawlers here just to turn all these units around for a moment. That way he has time to clear off these front-facing units. Or play a whole bunch of units just that inch forward. That way the first round of fire that goes out doesn't do anything. You know, if the Vulcan had a little bit of range, or if he was able to make contact first, Steelsane would be in a very good position. These level 3 Mustang, oh, the Mustang do have the aerial spec now. Okay, that will help them a little bit. It's not going to be great. Great placement here by Steelsane on these... Oh, he doesn't burn the midnight oil. But great placement here. I believe this should go to the left. It might go to the right, though, and take out those tanks instead. More shielding. Good placement of crawlers here just to kind of pull everything the wrong way. The double shot on the Scorpion are able to take out these rhinos a little bit quicker. It's not huge, but it helps. Alright, this is going a little bit better here for Steelsane, but I still just think there's way too many overlords. The, what are these? The Mustang aren't quite pulling their weight. Ooh, they get one. They're going to be able to clean up number 2 here pretty quickly. There's a couple of tanks left. Number 3 overlord goes down. Is there enough Mustang? It looks like there's enough Mustang. Wow, Steelsane scrapes it back by the skin of his teeth. Somehow we're actually gaining people watching throughout the game. I guess their games are over. Senior attack specialist here by Weitei. Parasitic ammo by Steelsane. Who's going to get the ammo, though? These guys all go up to level 2 and level 3. And level 4. Very good. Very, very good. Huge increases of most units. Does this scale? No, it doesn't. That's a shame. But 60,000 HP is 60,000 HP. Steelsane's still got 300 bucks left. Why do the eggs waiting? I think these tanks are kind of done. Maybe giving them range at this point would be worthwhile, just because then they would outrange the Vulcan. Oh, they already do outrange the Vulcan. Huh. I wonder why that's happened. That's why. I was like, that's not normally the case. Both players burn the midnight oil. Both kind of want to push in the win here. Normally we'll see this kind of play at the very end of a tournament when a big card like the nuke or the lightning storm comes out. It's not the case here, and a lot more Fang are being played. Whose missile is this? It's Steelsane's. Interesting. I would have thought that more Overlords would have been the name of the game here. They have the Overlord launcher, so they should be able to kill everything just that much quicker. Great delay happening here, though. Oh, the Rhinos don't stand a chance anymore. That's a lot less units causing a breakthrough. In fact, some of the crawlers are even starting to make it in. That's not something that I was expecting to see. First Vulcan drops, but this is a lot of level 3 Mustang just gunning down these Overlords. Wow! Is this how you defend against this really cool new aggression? You know, I think those crawlers were being spawned in because of one of the scorpions with parasitic ammo. And that really did delay things. No, it was the Vulcan that has the parasitic ammo. Photon emission for Steelsane. Hey, two can play the photon emission game. Almost certainly the electromagnetic impact is going to happen on this flank as well. Increased damage for the Mustang as well. Great pickup. They should be able to cut through all the chaff and even deal a little bit more damage to the tanks now. There's the electromagnetic impact. It's only going to affect one unit of Mustang, though. Interesting choice here. Weitei still sitting on a bunch of cash. Steelsane's going to play his Wasps on this flank. They are certainly dead. But he's going to back them up with a unit of crawlers. Okay, I think still positioning them over here would have been a good choice. But we shall see. Both players burn the oil. There's a little bit more shielding. Steelsane just needs to bubble up this whole area. Weitei doesn't really have any good reach. In order to deal with these Mustang, he needs reach. And the Overlords just have a little bit less range now. The Mustangs very nicely outrange them. So they are able to make that first contact, and most things in Mechabellum don't have a huge amount of HP. It's not like StarCraft 2, where a Zealot can get shot like a dozen times and run away and regen. No, if you get shot, you're almost certainly going to die. I like this mass shielding, though. I think that's a very good answer here. And the Overlords, man, they don't really stand a chance over on that flank, but haha, that's a lot of Overlords. Okay. If the Mustang, I mean, some more were played out, but not that many more. See how these shields hold up. The shields are dropping pretty darn quick, but there's a lot of shielding on the field here for both players due to those photon emissions. The level 4 Scorpions easily able to make quick work of these units. Vulcan able to stand up to a lot more damage because of the photon emission. Surviving for just that little bit longer. Oh my! Look how quickly these level 4 Mustang cut through these units. This isn't looking great here for the Overlords, and I think Steelsane is going to win himself another tournament. Well played, well played. Steelsane, you absolute Chad. If you haven't already, go check out his Twitch. I'm sure it's worth watching if he's winning tournaments like this. And be sure to like and subscribe. Steelsane wins, Weitei round 2, Weitei round 3, or in third place, Flicks in round 4. If you see your name here, congratulations on participating in the tournament. I'd love to cast your games. If you haven't already, be sure to send them over to the BreenJoeshow's email, and I will watch, review, and chat with you about it. See you in a bit.